Welcome to tonight's football analysis program, produced by Eris Kuhn. Tonight, we will break down the UEFA Europa League final versus League. If you enjoy our program, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. If you want access to more member-only picks, please check the information on our profile and get in touch with us. The cost of trial and error is low, but the regret of missing out can be huge. So, welcome to this deep dive into the source material. For our English speakers, we are looking at Crystal Palace taking on Rayo Vallecano, and this is just a massive matchup.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you've got two teams stepping onto neutral ground at Leipzig's Red Bull Arena, right?
Exactly, and there's absolutely zero safety net here. Neither of these clubs qualified for Europe via their domestic leagues, so it is entirely winner takes all. One team claims European glory, and the other goes home with absolutely nothing.
Right, the stakes literally could not be higher. And when I dig into the data, the immediate market narrative, well, it paints this as a classic David versus Goliath scenario.
With Crystal Palace being the Goliath, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they are a heavy Goliath. Just looking at their squad value, it sits at this massive 536 million euros.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, it ranks #1 in the entire tournament. So that gives them a 429 million euro hard power advantage over Rayo Vallecano. Plus, they're the highest scoring team in the tournament with 25 goals.
Right, and their attack is just firing on all cylinders right now.
Exactly. Their spearhead, Ismaila Sarr, is in peaking form. He's netted 6 goals in his last 5 matches. And you combine that with manager Oliver Glasner holding an 80% unbeaten record against La Liga teams in Europe.
It makes complete sense why the public heavily favors them. But I want to push back on that Goliath narrative for a second.
Sure. What are you seeing?
Well, if we look at the macro historical trend, history heavily favors the Spanish side here. In the last 17 European finals between English and Spanish clubs, Spain actually holds a dominant 10-7 advantage.
Whoa, that's a pretty significant edge.
It is. And if you just isolate the last 5 major finals against English opposition, La Liga's is 4-1. So, the historical weight is really pushing against Palace here.
You're exactly right, and I think the Goliath narrative completely ignores that history. And honestly, when you combine that historical Spanish advantage with the specific tactical cracks I'm seeing in Palace right now, Goliath starts looking very, very vulnerable.
Okay, cracks in the foundation. Tell me about those.
For starters, let's talk about the venue. Glasner has a literal curse at the Red Bull Arena in Leipzig. He has 0 wins there in 6 career attempts.
Wait, really? 0 wins in 6 attempts?
0. It's wild. And second, they've lost their domestic momentum entirely. They are winless in their last 4 Premier League matches. But my biggest concern is a structural fracture in their defense.
You're talking about the injury, right?
Exactly. Their starting center back, Chris Richards, is out injured.
And why is that single injury so devastating to their setup? I mean, they have a 536 million euro squad.
That's a great question. It's because Glasner relies on a back 3 to push his wingbacks high up the pitch. Without Richards' recovery speed acting as the central anchor, those wingbacks are forced to stay back.
Right, so they just get pinned down in their own half.
Exactly. It effectively neutralizes Palace's entire offensive setup.
So it's like Palace without Richards is essentially a top-heavy sports car missing a wheel. The flashy pieces are still stacked on top, but the whole structure is just one bump away from collapsing.
That is the perfect analogy.
But the real question is, can Rayo Vallecano actually be the team to knock it over and capitalize on that?
I absolutely believe they can. Rayo is just a silent juggernaut right now. I mean, they're riding a 9-match unbeaten streak across all competitions.
9 matches, that's serious momentum.
It really is. And they are absolute market crushers, too, going 8-1 against the spread in their last 9 games. Plus, unlike Palace, Rayo has 100% core availability.
So no major injuries at all?
None. Everyone is ready to go, including their key winger, Alvaro Garcia. Offensively, they employ what I like to call a Hydra attack.
A Hydra attack, like the multi-headed monster.
Exactly. Instead of relying on one star player, their 22 goals are spread out across 12 different players. It's led by Alamau, who just peaked with 2 goals in the semifinals.
So it's basically impossible for a compromised defense to man-mark them, because the threat comes from everywhere.
Right, you can't just shut down one guy.
Or hold on. If Rayo is attacking with that many different players, they must be leaving themselves somewhat exposed on the counter, right? How is a team worth only 107 million euros surviving defensively against a Goliath?
Well, they do it by playing a completely binary defensive game. They secured 4 clean sheets in their last 5 tournament wins by clamping down into a really rigid low block.
Oh, so they just grind out the clock.
Exactly. They grinded out back-to-back 1-0 victories in the semifinals. But here is a crucial warning. If they do concede first, their loss rate spikes to 60%.
Wow, okay. So to win, they absolutely must dictate a low-scoring, grinding game from the very first whistle.
Exactly right.
Okay, let me summarize where the balance of power sits right now. When the market sees a 536 million euro squad value, it automatically prices Palace as the heavy favorite.
Yeah, that's just how the market tends to work.
Right. But looking under the hood, we actually have an expensive squad limping in without their core defensive anchor, going up against a 107 million euro Rayo squad with their core completely intact, and they are peaking at the exact right moment.
Precisely. And that brings me to my final assessment, which is that form simply trumps evaluation. Rayo's recent shift to a grinding, low-event style is the perfect tactical blueprint to frustrate a structurally compromised Palace side.
And the neutral site helps too, right?
Oh, absolutely. The neutral site totally nullifies Rayo's historical away woes. So my final verdict is to back Rayo Vallecano to avoid defeat.
Okay, and how should listeners actually play that?
You can exploit this market inefficiency using the Asian handicap plus 0.5, or you can look at the double chance market for a draw or Rayo Vallecano.
That is some fantastic insight. Now, before we wrap up, consider this for your own strategy. The betting public is just endlessly obsessed with expensive goal scorers, but they consistently undervalue structural defensive cohesion in high-pressure finals.
Right, and that is exactly where you find your edge in these specific matchups.
Exactly. We invite you to join our Discord member community or subscribe to our Patreon member-only analysis articles. If you don't use Discord, please leave us a message so you can join our Telegram or another communication channel to receive our member picks and profit from them. Decades of trading experience have built our consistent results. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow.